Welcome to CNates, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is the best new shows to stream on Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, and more. I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to watch until the end because I am sure you will like it. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. The Brothers Sunday 2024, Bruce and Charles, are the titular bros in The Brothers Sun, and they don't really know each other that well. That's because Charles has been living in Taipei and running with the Jade Dragons triad under their father, Big Sun. Meanwhile, Bruce has been raised in Los Angeles by their mother, Eileen, while enjoying a relatively normal life. Their worlds collide when an attempted hit on their father brings Charles to Los Angeles and exposes the family business to a previously oblivious Bruce. Eileen, of course, has known all along what her husband was into, and she's much more lethal than Bruce could have ever predicted, especially when it comes to protecting her family from their enemies. Pokémon Concierge 2023. You don't really need to know anything about Pokémon to enjoy Pokémon Concierge, the new stop-motion animated series on Netflix. It has no direct connection to any previous Pokémon series, and it has a throwback style that is dazzling to look at. The boys Karen Fukuhara leads the English voice cast as Haru, a young girl whose life had been in disarray before she landed a laid-back job at the Pokémon Resort. Haru's primary duty is to make sure that her Pokémon guests are having as much fun as possible. And Haru can do that almost any way that she pleases, assuming that she can stop overthinking herself into corners and take the time to enjoy the job of a lifetime. Berlin 2023. If you were hoping to see the further adventures of Berlin from Money Heist, then you probably didn't watch the second season of that show. Let's just say that there will be no sequels for Berlin. Fortunately, prequels are very much on the table, and the Berlin spin-off series explores a previously unknown story from Berlin's past. This time, Berlin has his own team, including Kella, Damien, Cameron, Roy, and Bruce. And there's a €44 million score could make all of them rich beyond their wildest dreams if there are no hitches in the plan. Letterkenny 2016. You would have to move to Canada to find a more distinctly Canadian comedy than Letterkenny. The long-running series is coming to an end with the newly arrived 12th season on Hulu, which threatens the bond between Wayne and Daryl. After Wayne's sister, Katie, alienates Daryl, he falls in with the Hicks rivals, the Degens. Unfortunately for Daryl, once he's in deep with the Degens, there may not be any way back to his friends. And Wayne finds that few people in Letterkenny are willing to help him bring Daryl back into the fold. Fargo 2014. FX's hit anthology series Fargo is back on Hulu for its 5th season with a brand new cast of characters and a timeline that falls just a few months before COVID-19 wreaked havoc on the country. This season is all about Dorothy, Dot, Leone, the loving wife of Wayne Leone. It becomes clear pretty early that Dot isn't who she pretends to be, and no one has a bigger reason to smoke her out of her hiding place than North Dakota Sheriff Roy Tillman, Dot's previous husband, who may still be technically married to her. Dot stayed several steps ahead of Tillman for a long time, but she can only run from her past for so long. What If 2021. Episodes of Marvel's What If Season 2 will be arriving on Disney Plus on a daily basis until December 30th. This animated series explores alternative outcomes to previous adventures, as well as wildly divergent realities in which Iron Man encountered the Grandmaster in space or Nebula joined the Nova Corps. Marvel's anthology show largely stands alone from the previous season, but the missing episode from Season 1 with Gamora on Sakaar will finally make its debut alongside a Captain Carter sequel story. This season will also see the return of one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Invincible 2021. The reigning king of the superhero shows, Invincible, returns for its 2nd season with a horrific look at an alternate Earth where Mark Grayson, Invincible, sided with his father, Omni-Man, in the conquest of Earth. Back in the primary timeline, Mark is emotionally bereft after the fight with his father as he struggles to recapture his purpose as a hero. Meanwhile, the Guardians of the Globe face a leadership shake-up and the Mauler twins may have just created a new nemesis for Invincible. Get ready for some fireworks because the action is about to begin. John Lennon Murder Without a Trial 2023. December 8 marks the 43rd anniversary of the murder of John Lennon, one of the most influential musicians of his generation. The former member of the Beatles was gunned down by Mark David Chapman in New York City, and his legend has only grown since then. Apple TV+'s new 3-part documentary series, John Lennon Murder Without a Trial, attempts to make sense of this senseless act of violence with interviews conducted with Chapman's lawyer and psychiatrist, as well as Jay Hastings, the man who was there when Lennon shared his last words before perishing. Monarch Legacy of Monsters 2023. There are 2 big surprises in store for fans of Legendary's Monsterverse in Monarch Legacy of Monsters. The first is that the show doesn't shy away from linking directly to both the 2014 Godzilla reboot and to Kong, Skull Island. The other surprise is that this series is an unexpectedly compelling drama in its own right. The story begins 1 year after the events of Godzilla, as 2 strangers, Kate and Kentaro, discover that they are half-siblings through their late father, Hiroshi. As the siblings compare notes, they discover that Hiroshi was closely linked with Monarch, the organization that has been tracking the monstrous titans for decades. Kate and Kentaro also meet Lee Shaw, Monarch's former operatives. In flashbacks, Russell's son, Wyatt Russell, plays the younger Lee as he takes part in the origins of Monarch itself. Lawman Bass Reeves 2023 Taylor Sheridan's next Western TV series Lawman. Bass Reeves is already a hit on Paramount+. David Oyelowo stars as Bass Reeves, one of the first black deputy U.S. Marshals whose legend was built 10 years after the Civil War. The real Reeves was recruited in part because he spoke multiple native languages, and he proved to be one of the best detectives of his era. Plot details for the series are currently under wraps, but the cast includes Dennis Quaid as Cheryl Lynn, Forrest Goodluck as Billy Crow, Lauren E. Banks as Jenny Reeves, Barry Pepper as Aesop Pierce, Grantham Coleman as Edwin Jones, Demi Singleton as Sally Reeves, and Donald Sutherland as Judge Isaac Parker. Fellow Travelers 2023 like sweeping historical dramas with charismatic lead actors, a compelling dramatic story, and steamy love scenes. Look no further than Fellow Travelers, the 8-part limited series that is streaming on Paramount+. The series stars Matt Bomer as Hawkins Fuller, an ambitious junior politician who is trying to lived as a closeted gay man in 1950s Washington. He meets, and quickly falls in love with, Ernest Tim Laughlin, whose optimism and faith both attract and repel Hawkins over the years. The show, which spans multiple decades from the 1950s to the 1980s, marries the political and the personal, offering a unique perspective of the late 20th century that touches on topics such as sexuality, race, and religion.